Welcome to No Room for Phonies.
Episode 146.
And this month we're going to talk about difficult people. And the book that we're going to talk about today is called Handling Difficult People, Easy Instructions for Managing the Difficult People in Your Life by John Block.
And the first disclaimer is you really cannot change another person. People only change when they're ready to, and you can change only your own behavior when you encounter difficult people.
And that's his premise throughout the book. The book that we're going to do at the end of the month actually has a bit more strategy to it. This is more
just explaining
behaviors. And no, it does give some advice, but it's more about what you're doing. Although the other book as well, it's just more like it has some steps and some actual things you can do.
Nice.
So the first one is the big bully. And a big bully is someone who wants to look good by making you look bad with fear and superiority and power, making others suffer, being intimidating, inhibiting others from doing their best.
And the big bully has no interest in relating to you as an equal, and there's no empathy for how they make you feel or who they will use or how they will use you to make themselves look superior to get ahead.
So bullies suffer usually from poor self-image, and they're easily threatened and frightened. And they're actually often unhappy and end up alone. And the advice that the book gives is literally to keep your cool.
Not to get riled by them. Okay.
And to understand what their underlying kind of issue is.
Mm-hmm. The next difficult person is the big mouth. They don't know when to shut up, and it would never occur to them to shut up.
They're unbearably obnoxious. They live to talk. They're compulsive talkers. They're afraid of silence. They blab secrets. They make things up. They insult and they embarrass.
They're often boring. They have long-winded tales. They speak too loud often, and they rarely talk about actual content. Nothing about feelings, and they often seem a mystery.
They show off, rebelling against their own inner demons. Lots of inner turmoil. They turn people off and they don't realize it. And the advice here is to never confide in someone who has proven to be a big mouth. Compulsive talking is associated also with neurosis and depression.
Interesting.
Or giftedness.
Which isn't a bad thing.
They can become blogging or social media addicts.
Interesting. The next personality is the brick wall. This person is incapable of hearing anything that is said, and nothing gets through.
Like number one, they say, well, all I know is continue, and then they continue to, like if you try to talk to them, they'll say, well, all I know is this.
Yes.
And then they'll just continue to repeat what they think is right. Or number two, they'll latch on to one point you made and respond only about that one thing.
And the brick wall often says nothing, and you can't get any response at all.
So those are the three kinds of brick walls.
Okay.
All I know is this, and they won't think of any other perspective, or they'll latch onto one, or they'll say nothing. So the brick walls are usually extremely insecure. They live in a black and white universe. They are not free and open-minded thinkers, and they feel threatened, and they never admit they are wrong. And they're actually exasperating.
And the strategy is don't seek their opinion. Excessive stubbornness is associated with unresolved conflicts, and it's also known as stonewalling. I like this.
We've met people like that. The constant complainer. They can never say anything good about anyone or anything at any time. They are just like a tornado of negativity, constant counter-argue, like to complain, feel very misunderstood, and they're just a negative influence. And to me,
they're an Eeyore.
They're Eeyore, but they're also like, you almost want to say to them, okay, I'm suggesting an idea, so let's get your complaining out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the next one
is the drama queen.
Or king.
They go on and on about how everything is miserable with constant attention on themselves and a focus on getting others to pamper them. So a little bit like the complainer.
Yes.
But, they make their problems everyone else's problems. And they do crave your help and interest because their life is an endless mess.
They are in crisis mode 24/7. They have difficulty being alone. They're often very charismatic, highly skilled storytellers. They dominate conversations. They steal scenes. You must always defer to them, and you become like their personal assistant.
Sorry, this is reminding me.
Someone?
Yes. So beware of the show-offs, another type of drama queen. They easily fall into bad mouthing and gossiping about others. And how do people who have known the person longer seem to respond?
That's a question to ask about them.
Oh, okay.
Like you kind of say, how do people who have been around them a long time, like
so
someone
watch
will
how
say,
they react.
oh yeah, they try to draw you in. They try to get you to do stuff for them. And they're actually very hard on your own self-confidence.
Wow.
You do not need to live your life at the mercy of someone's latest crisis. You need to keep a safe distance in order to avoid becoming associated with this kind of instability. And you have license to tell it like it is and always try to keep things light. Both depression and addiction are associated with being an exceptionally needy, show-offy person.
So sometimes it's just better to refer them for therapy.
Yes.
The know-it-all.
I'm coughing every once in a while because my allergies are really bad. So I'll just ask for your forgiveness.
The know-it-all cannot be wrong no matter what. They must have the last word. They say anything to win, and they pick fights and then fight to the death.
They need their ego constantly inflated. They don't draw others into the conversation. They lecture. They do whatever it takes to stay in control. They never admit they are wrong. They need power. They deny others' right to a voice.
And the know-it-all actually often are quite intelligent. If you confront them, you must be prepared to suffer emotional wounds. They are defensive. They don't see the behavior as a personal threat.
They avoid making statements to them, phrase things as a question, flatter the know-it-all to maintain harmony, especially at work.
That drives you crazy.
I know. They always blow their own horn, and narcissism is right around the corner.
It's interesting how some of these are the saboteurs.
Yes,
or have elements of it. The procrastinator, they are a walking and talking to-do list because they keep everything in their head and get nothing done.
Yes. Start but never finish, but insist on finishing it for themselves. They have what you call mental paralysis or closet perfectionism. They care so much that they're actually afraid to do anything. And they have lots of potential that goes nowhere. And so they are labeled as passive-aggressive perfectionists.
Procrastinators do not respond well to criticism. They practice avoidance, benefiting from a strategy is that they benefit from gentle encouragement and subtle direction. Break things down into a short list of manageable steps.
Present a constructive plan that is hard to disagree with. Ask what you can do to help. Help them with organization. Procrastination can also cause depression because they feel inadequate or disconnected. I like this one, the snooty snob.
The snooty snob. These people are mean-spirited about being superior. They have to be better than everyone else.
They lack courtesy and respect. You can't meet their needs, figure them out, or gain their attention. They always feel they need to prove something. They're totally engaged in themselves so much that people keep them at a distance.
They have delusions of grandeur.
And they like to hobnob with the upper echelon. Pretension, they are pretentious and they need to be humored. I like this one too, the temper tantrum type.
These people easily become emotionally unhinged. They want attention, but they want to be dictators. They win the battle, but lose the war, and often feel frustrated and misunderstood.
They're actually spoiled, and what do we call that? What's the one that we always talk about now? Spoiled and temperamental. They are entitled.
Entitled.
Yes.
Yep.
Does the person need 911, or can it be resolved in a small common sense way? Emotions tend to follow thoughts. So they have a thought, it turns into emotion. They spit it out.
And they have a temper tantrum.
And the next one is the two-face. They have no conscience, no principles.
They sit on the fence.
Yeah. And they get an adrenaline rush from stirring things up. They poison other people's words.
They stretch the truth and outright lie, and gossip is their middle name.
They never take a stand. They agree all the time to try to have some connections to other people. So they're standing on this with these people. They agree with them, and then they walk across the room and agree with the other people.
They're always superficial and generally dishonest.
And they're just like a chameleon. So those are his people that he feels you meet. He's particularly focused at work, but I think in life, in
any social setting,
you meet these kind of people.
Family.
Yes, yeah. So anyway, so those are kind of the people that you meet. A little bit of advice, but on October 30th, we're going to put out the book Powerful Phrases for Dealing with Difficult People, and it's by Renee Evanson. And her book actually gives you a step-by-step way of like confronting, talking to difficult people about specific problems.
Interesting.
And she goes through all these different like issues and gives examples and whatever. So I think her book will be super interesting. But I do encourage you, we have been still working through the positive intelligence stuff, and a lot of these fit with
the saboteurs.
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to the one that we've done on saboteur and stage, it might be interesting to just go back, listen to that.
Mm-hmm. Now, does this author talk about identifying the difficult person we are ourselves, or that we can slide into that mode?
Oh yeah. I mean, these are difficult people. But the problem with difficult people is they're not often all that self-reflective.
Right.
So, I mean, the quote that I said today is the difficult people in your life remind you of what you don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you hear yourself like being two-faced, and I think one of if you look back at some of these, you can do like a minor
slip
into some of these things. Just do you catch yourself complaining every time management comes out with a thing?
Right.
Do you complain about it, or do you try to see it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a brick wall? Are you,
Are you a know-it-all?
Yes.
Or a procrastinator, perfectionist?
Like, are you snooty about things?
Mm-hmm.
Intellectually superior to everybody?
As I'm going through these, I'm seeing my saboteurs, like the ones that hit me when I'm in crisis or under stress. I guess
what I like about this,
I don't feel like I'm a permanent difficult person, but I have
and I think that's kind of the purpose of the book, is so that we can all go, whoa, wait a minute, I don't want to be that.
Right.
And I think what is nice about the positive intelligence piece is that it actually gives you kind of reps and things you can do to kind of stop yourself in your track and use that different part of your brain to make a better decision.
Right.
And that's the whole purpose of positive intelligence. Whereas this is not what this is doing.
No. Yeah. And there's just a little bit of advice how to deal with that person.
Yeah. But the next book is more detailed and has way more strategies. So these are the difficult people, the snooty snobs and the temper tantrum people and the drama queens and the two-faced. Those are all people that all occur in our lives. And I'm sure it's harder, I think. I think it's harder if they're in your friend group too, like, or your group of people. I think it's just hard to deal with, especially people who are really ingrained in some of this behavior. Mm-hmm. Like, they actually would need to go for themselves and get counseling. And I guess the bottom line is you really can't change them.
No.
So that can't be your goal. Your goal has to be remaining calm, listening,
and avoiding yourself getting sucked into their
right. And I mean, in the other book, she talks about like humor and some other ways of so like the constant complainer, my line about, okay, now it's your turn, like we know that you're gonna give us all the negatives, so let's go, let's hear them and then move on, right? That kind of a thing. And then maybe at some point the person might get kind of shocked into realizing where they're at,
stuck in that mode.
So, but anyway, I think they're just really interesting. So if you, like I say, if you haven't listened to the stuff on saboteurs, it would be really interesting to listen to that and then to look at these and see kind of how they fit together.
Right.
So
this book by John Block.
I call him Block.
Okay. Handling Difficult People, Easy Instructions for Managing the Difficult People in Your Life was a pretty quick read.
Oh yeah, it's a very quick read. So it really does just give like tons and tons of examples of what you would see in these kinds of behaviors. I don't want to call them personalities, but behaviors.
No, because you can
change behavior.
Change yourself. You can.
So
Absolutely.
you can't change them, but you can identify them and feel a little bit better. And I think one of the things this does is helps you realize that this has nothing to do with you. That's just who they are.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us for episode 146. Books Worth Reading, Handling Difficult People by John Block.
And have a good day.